Hello. Hi, everyone. So nice to have everyone like in one place. Hi, how are you? We have so many different questions, so many different things. I'm super excited to answer hopefully a good amount of questions. Let me see, let me just pull up all of the things. Just give me 1 second. That'll give people a few extra minutes to hop on as well. Whitney, I think I lost the thing. Oh, I have it. Okay, I have the questions. I got it. Okay, cool. We got it. All right. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to meet you. My name is Donna, and you have probably been getting all of my emails. There's a lot. Please feel free to disregard the ones that you're not interested in. If you want to unsubscribe, you can also do that. But hopefully, everybody that's here does not want to unsubscribe. They want to learn more, which is what we are all about. So, let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I did get a few emails from people that weren't sure I was a real person. After they downloaded my shadow chart, they were like, is this real? Like, are you like an actual person? I am. I'm so very real. I live in right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, America. I have 2 kids. I'm a single mom, divorced. It's a lot to juggle all the things. I'm sure a lot of you on here know exactly what I'm talking about. I like to think of it as managing rather than juggling. Juggling feels like I'm like throwing shit in the air. I am managing all the balls right now. Human design and shadow work is my passion. So the reason why I started doing this, so I found human design probably like 5 years ago at this point, and I was using it as a healing modality to try to learn more about myself and heal my past. Now, those of you that know my story, you know that I was born in a different country, came to America when I was around 8 years old. And I joke that I came online when I was 30. That's when I realized like I was alive and like creating things consciously. And I also realized at that point, being married with 2 kids at the age of 30, that I had no memory of my childhood, none. And how that was going to affect my healing journey, how that would affect my trauma healing. Because if you don't know, how are you supposed to heal it? I just knew how it was manifesting in my body. I knew that I was chronically sick, losing my hair, way underweight or way overweight, right? Like extremes. My marriage was failing. I was not being a great mom. I was a workaholic. I was drinking a lot. There was just all of these things in my life that I was like, this is not working. Something has to change. So started with therapy, and then I got into spirituality and all of these other things. And I got to the point in my journey where I was like, okay, I have all of these tools, but it's still not working. Something is still missing here. So not really consciously, like I didn't come up with this human design shadow thing to help other people in full transparency. It was totally to help me. Like I'm a 1-3, highly individual, manifesting generator. It's about me. Okay. I did it to heal me. And then when I realized, oh shit, this works, I could figure out what my shadows were, what my traumas were, what my sabotaging behaviors were, and how to heal them using my bodygraph without needing to have a memory of the past. I was like, wait a minute, this could help other people. So that's how this started. It's very real. It's not a marketing ploy. I know a lot of people like see the ads and they're like, oh my God, is this real? This is so real. Whitney, who is also on here, Whitney and I have been Whitney has been on my team probably for 2 years now. We've been training people on this method. We have been working with people one-on-one on shadow work, on human design work. We've had a bunch of different containers, a bunch of different things that you'll hear about. But the most important thing, to me at least, is getting this message out that if you feel stuck, if you feel burned out, if you feel like you don't know where you're going, you've lost your purpose, you've lost your way, there is a way to come back. There is a way to come home, whether you remember your past or not. There is a way. And we have found that way through working with human design and shadow work. Now, why human design and shadow work? It's all about the subconscious mind. We don't know what we don't know. So if my subconscious mind is creating my future, which it is, then I need to be aware of what is in my subconscious mind in order to create a new future, or else I'm just going to keep creating the same patterns. Carl Jung, who in our space we call him Shadow Daddy. Shadow Daddy said that we will just keep whatever stays in the unconscious will just keep repeating itself, and we will call it destiny. We will call it fate. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but you can Google it, I swear. So that is really our mission, is to help you understand what is in your subconscious mind that is creating your future. You don't necessarily have to know what has happened. You don't have to remember the trauma. You don't have to relive the trauma. You can, and that's that's part of the process if you do know that, if you do want to go there. But even if you don't, we can backtrack. From using the bodygraph, we can backtrack based on our research, based on our experiments. I'm a 1-3, research and experiment. We can backtrack and see this could be the cause, right? Does this resonate with your body? So what we're doing is we're giving you a potential, and then your body gets to take that in and say, oh, yes, I feel that viscerally. Oh, yes, I have goosebumps. Oh, my God, I have a headache. Oh, my God, now my arm hurts. All kinds of crazy shit. But we use your body as the thermometer. Is this real? Is this true? Does this resonate? And if it doesn't, great, fine, we'll move on. Like, I'm not offended if this does not resonate with you. Some people email me and they're like, I don't resonate with my shadow. Great. You could have already done all the work, and this is no longer an issue. That is fine. And that is another thing that I love for people to understand. Human design, similarly to the gene keys, is a spectrum. It's a spectrum of energy, right? My gate, I don't know, my gate 2 of direction, when I'm in the shadow of my gate 2 and I feel lost and confused, and it's my conscious earth, so it's like my grounding. It's how I find grounding. It's how I find balance. If I'm in the not self, that means I also have access to the true self. You have access to the entire spectrum of your gates, of your channels, of your centers. So that's kind of like a very brief overview of the work. If you have questions throughout this little Q&A class, feel free to put them in the chat. Whitney's going to be in there chit-chatting. And what we did is we wrote all of the questions down. We have them in an Excel spreadsheet. We asked Google to pick 5 people to do a mini shadow reading where we can just chat about it. So I will be doing those, and then I will answer some other questions, and we'll try to move through this all pretty quickly. That way, whoever is here today and they have questions can get those answered. So yeah, any questions before we start? Oh, there was a question. Let me do some housekeeping. I think most of you know, but based on some of the questions that we received, I would like to clarify. I am not a psychic reader. I do not have a crystal ball. I wish I did, but I do not. Human design does not tell the future. Human design cannot tell me if your current relationship is correct, or if you should get married, or if you're pregnant. I cannot tell you those things, nor would I want to. What we can use human design to do is to look at your patterns, to look at your low frequency and your high frequency, and we can play somewhere in the middle. But I do not have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you the future. nor can I like see into your body. So let me just get that out there. Okay. So my first question in here is from Adrian Coleman, and Adrian wants to understand the shadow chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to take you guys through the how to download a shadow chart, which I'm sure you've all already done, and how to read it, because there are nuances in it that is so hard to explain on a sales page. Also, let me tell you, like, this software that I use to generate this chart is not my software. It's clunky. And I've been on the phone on and off with IT for months, and they're trying to help, but it's clunky and it's weird sometimes, and it doesn't look as pretty, and you have to scroll and you have to wait. So thank you for bearing with me. We are trying to get that fixed. But technology, I don't know, it is what it is. Okay, so if you come here to humandesignshadow.com / just go to humandesignshadow.com, you have this free shadow chart. Let me do this. Okay. Now you scroll down, all you have to do is put your name, your information, avoid pressing the tab key if you are on a computer, because it will just jump to the next form. Oh, see? Clunky. But I promise it's worth it. Email address. Okay, here is my shadow chart. Now, what you can do is you can download this as a PDF, so it's a little bit easier to read. Now, this does take a minute for it to download. Now, let me do a new share. Okay. First thing I notice here is that I'm a manifesting generator. These are our types. Now, if you're brand new to human design, we do have my 31-day deconditioning program does have a 25-minute video basics on human design. So you can get that in there. Otherwise, you can just Google it. So what this is going to tell you is the not self energy of your type. The type is so, so, so important. I know if you know human design, you're so sick of hearing this. You're almost as sick of hearing about your type as you are about strategy and authority. But it is important. So what I give you here is my interpretation of the not self, of the shadow aspect of your type. Now, when I say shadow aspect, this is how our subconscious is manifesting our shadows into existence. Often that is through our trauma responses, sabotaging patterns, limiting beliefs. So this is my interpretation of it based on the research that I've done. So manifesting generators are the most conditioned types. That is what Ra said. That's a direct quote. Now, other things about manifesting generators that you might not have known are thrown into here, but it is a lot of not self behavior. And the whole point of bringing this shadow chart to you is to bring awareness to how you might be behaving in these not self ways, so that you can stop yourself and be like, oh my God, okay, wait a minute. I have a completely open solar plexus. I've been lying to everybody around me, manipulating the truth. This is not self-behavior. So let me take a break here. Let me take a pause and let me think about what is the truth? And can I move more into truth? And if I cannot, then why? What did I learn about having to regulate other people's emotions with my behavior? How have I learned to manipulate other people's actions with my behavior, with my words? So these are some of the different things that we take you through. We talk about not self-theme. So important. Yes, a lot of you are probably like, I already know my not self-theme. Like, this is so easy. Duh. This is basic information. Okay, but have you considered that everywhere in your life as a generator, wherever you feel frustration, you're in the not self. You're acting out a sabotaging pattern. You are out of alignment, as people say. right? Again, this is not to knock you down. It is not to make you feel bad about yourself. This is purely awareness. Awareness is the first step to anything you want. Become aware of it. Manifesting, become aware of your reality and stop rejecting it. That's what we are really doing here. We are putting a stop to rejecting the reality, and we're becoming aware of what it really is. Okay, I know that I'm lying and manipulating, but I'm not really thinking about it because it's second nature. So if this is going to make me think about it twice or even 3 times and be like, wait a minute, Donna said this was a not self behavior. Now I've already created awareness that starts the wheels moving to change, to deconditioning, because now I'm aware of it. It's conscious rather than a subconscious pattern that's creating my life for me. Strategy and authority. This is actually, we just have strategy here because the shadow report goes into authority deeply. I'm going to show you that. So our strategy is wait to respond. So I go into some ways that we sabotage this, some ways that we do not live our strategy. Okay, definition. So important. A lot of people do not talk about this when it comes to deconditioning. This is what we live for. Like Whitney and I, this is like our jam, right? Because nobody talks about the difference between looking at your undefined centers and looking at your bridges if you're a split definition. And I'm going to go into way more detail about this in a minute. So I'm going to hold off on this for a second. But knowing your definition is so important. It's here. It's free. I'm literally giving it to you. There is way more information in the shadow report if you decide to download that, but it is free here. So if you're a split definition, large split, wide split, or a quad split, you're going to find your deepest conditioning in the bridges. And I will explain what those bridges are. If you are a single definition, no definition, or a triple split, you are going to find your deepest conditionings in your undefined centers. Period. Mic drop. Okay, profile. I give you a little bit of information about both of your lines. In the shadow report, I give you information about the profile together and each line. So what you need to know here is 1 + 1 does not equal 2. 1 + 1 = 3. I have the line 1, I have the line 3. They're 2 different things, and when I put them together, it's a third. So 1 + 1 = 2. Also important information to have, this is your role. This is the role that you take on in life. If you're recognizing, oh my God, I don't let myself experiment at all. I'm so hard on myself when I fail. You're missing the assignment. You're missing it, right? You're, as a line 3, you are here to make mistakes, trial and error. You're here to fail. You're here to help us, right? Like you are in charge of the material plane. That is money. But if you're not making mistakes and trying different things and experimenting, and you're just staying safe in this little bubble, that's one, that's trauma. But 2, you're not living your role. You're not living your assignment. So back up. Why aren't I living this? Why am I staying stuck? Get honest with yourself. Incarnation cross, this is how you may have repressed your purpose in life and replaced it with limiting beliefs. These are the reasons why you can't, why it's wrong, why it's bad. Now, most importantly here, and a lot of people miss this, and I tried to make it as like, but like I'm limited to what I can write in here, but I tried to make it as big as possible. Your channels are your gifts. They are your strengths. If you are not living in the high spectrum, right? If the channel is a spectrum, if you're not living in this gift city gene key wording area, then you're missing the assignment. Then your channels, you're in the dysfunctional energy of your channels. Now, human design people that know human design, they're like, wait a minute, we can have conditioning in our definition? Yes, your definition, you can be operating in the unhealthy expression or the dysfunctional expression of your definition. So here I give you what this might look like. You know, I have a 2034. If I'm busy doing all the wrong things, I'm not going to be moving the needle in my business. I'm going to go to sleep at night exhausted, but so frustrated because I did nothing but be busy with stupid shit. Or I was busy doing things for other people all day long because I'm also a people pleaser, because I have that undefined ego, let's say. Then I'm going to bed exhausted, but I'm frustrated. Take note, I'm exhausted. Yes, generators should go to sleep exhausted, but I'm frustrated. And that tells me something here is off. Now, if you want to optimize your strengths, you want to embody your gifts, you want to be the best version of you, look at your channels and how you might be living in their not self energy and their dysfunctional energy. The 3410, are you following your convictions or somebody else's convictions? These are your biggest shadows. These are your shadow geniuses, if you want to call it. These are your biggest shadows. And in this part, where when I say shadow, what I mean is you have this gift. I have this gift in my 3410 where I have my own convictions. Call them conspiracy theories, call them whatever you want. I have my own ideas, my own values that other people might not agree with, my own ways of living my life. What happened when I was young is that I was told that's not okay. You can't do that. We don't do that in America. In America, we don't tell people what we really think about them. No offense, Americans. So that was a part of me, a part of my values that I repressed. I threw it into the dumpster and I piled shadows on top of it. I piled limiting beliefs on top of it. I put that gift into the shadows. And I have all these limiting beliefs and stories and conditioning on top of it. What we're doing is we're removing the conditionings, the limiting beliefs, so that we can unearth that shadow, that gift that we put into the shadows. We can unearth it. These things, these channels, are precisely what is hiding under your 6 feet of conditioning, under your 6 feet of limiting beliefs, of bullshit stories you've been telling yourself, of excuses. Now, those conditionings, those limiting beliefs, those sabotage patterns that are hiding your genius, your gifts, are traumas. They are survival mechanisms. They are ways that you've learned to behave in order to get your needs met. They are not wrong. They are not bad. We just need to bring them to light. We just need to give them a place at the table so they can release, and then they just fall away. Sometimes easily, sometimes we fight it. Regardless, if you are not looking at these channels in this free report, you're missing it. You're missing everything. I don't talk about channels in the paid report because it's here. So if you combine the two, this is a wealth of information that can help you do anything you want to do. I truly believe that. Okay. So that is it for the free report. Obviously, it gives you all of this information. This is your regular body graph. It's just that this does not give you, and even the regular body graph does not give you shadow aspects. So that's what makes this a shadow chart. Now, let me stop this share for a second. Do we have any questions on that? Okay. Great question. What do we do with the not self? So thank you, Whitney. Whitney said first we witness it. So we do. We want to witness it, and then we can start to ask ourselves those deep questions. And that's where the shadow work comes in. And when you, let me show you the report instead of just talking to you about it. Of course, I lost it. Beautiful. All right, well, I lost it here. Whitney, can you download it for me? And then I can share it. Just 1 second. If you don't want to do yours, Whitney, you can do mine or. All right, so we'll skip the report for a second. Since Adrian Coleman asked about the shadow chart, I'm going to look at their chart real quick. So the 5 people that we have in here, but like I said, I'm going to try to go through these quickly. So if you are on here live and you have a question or you want to share your chart, we can do that as well. So I have Adrian, Barbara, Amanda, Lisa, and Ashley. So I'm going to start with Adrian. And I blocked out like the personal information. Okay. So if I'm just looking at this person's chart, the first place that my eyes go to is what's their definition. I want to know if they are single or split. And this person is a single definition. So what that means is that their defined centers are connected with channels. If this person had a defined ajna, let's say it was connected to the crown, defined ajna, defined crown, they'd be a split definition because there would be 2 islands. And I'll show you that in another chart. But the first thing I want to look at is the definition. So this person's a single definition. I know they process information quickly. The next thing I notice is as a 5-2, they actually do not wait to get called out by other people. As a 5-2, with the strong leadership capabilities of the 5-2, they call themselves out. They lead their own life. They actually don't wait. With other line 2s, you do have to wait for other people to call you out, but not with the 5-2. As a generator, I want to know what their sacral is responding to. So this person is going to be responding to the correct mutative direction, and they're also going to be responding to their own survival, to their own intuition, what is good for them. So if this person is telling me, hey, I'm always sick, then I'm going to say, well, you're probably in the dysfunctional energy of your 3457, letting other people tell you what is healthy for you. Are you following fad diets? Are you letting other people dictate when and where and how you eat and what medicines you take? Or do you trust your body? Do you trust your own intuition? Obviously, we want to look at the undefined centers, and they're not self-themed. So the undefined ego is the #1 conditioned center, followed by the undefined solar plexus. So the undefined ego, and this is completely open. So I want to make this distinction because a lot of people throw different words around. While human design shadow is my creation, like my baby, it is obviously built off of human design, but it's built off of source material. All of my information, my foundational information, comes from Ra's source materials. So this isn't like quantum human design. God bless, what's her name? Karen Curry Parker, right? She's amazing. But while hers was also based on Ra's information, she changed a lot of centers and a lot of different things. The types have different names, and you know what? Great for her. But I like to keep to the source material, and then the shadow aspects, the traumas, I do add my own information. So just so I'm transparent around that. When we don't have any hanging gates from an undefined center, that is called an open center. You see here, there's hanging gates. So this is an undefined center. So being completely open in this person's ego, we know that they might have trouble with self-worth, making promises that they can't keep. Maybe they're trying to push, using this willpower that they don't have. In terms of trauma, this is a lot of people pleasing. And so is the undefined solar plexus. So having these 2 together, I can say this person might be a people pleaser in their not self energy. Why? Undefined solar plexus, so important. We see this all the time. It's the empath, right? I can feel your feelings. I have an undefined solar plexus. It's actually completely open. Whitney has a defined solar plexus. I'm going to use us as an example. When Whitney is in my energy, I feel her emotions at 200%. The undefined centers amplify the definition at 200%. It's not just like a little witty bit. It's a big witty bit, right? Like it's a lot. So I amplify her emotions at 200%. Now, let's say Whitney and I are in a relationship and she has these explosions of anger. Me, I'm scared of that because my mom used to have explosions of anger. I might not know that I'm consciously scared of it, but I am. My body knows, right? My body tightens up. My body, it feels uncomfortable in her presence. Therefore, my subconscious is like, nope, we do not tell her the truth. We sugarcoat. Yes, you look super good in that skirt, right? Like the stupidest things. It doesn't matter. What we're going to do subconsciously is manipulate her. We're going to manipulate her so that I don't have to feel her emotions. So I'm lying. I'm not telling the truth. I'm sugarcoating. I'm watering down my truth. It's a little white lie. Call it whatever you want. It's a lie, right? It's a manipulation. The undefined solar plexus, these people are master manipulators, but it comes from survival. You had to. You learned this. Now, me with a completely open solar plexus, I can tell you that I part of my journey, part of the work that I'm constantly doing is not feeling responsible for other people's emotions. I would rather feel it. I'd rather me feel it than you feel it because I don't know how to process that. I don't know how to process how to help you. I don't know. It's fine. I've done it. I've done it my entire life. I can feel your deep emotions and I'll figure out a way to process it. I can release it, whatever. I'll take it on. But if you're hurting, oh my God, no, I can't. I can't handle it. Cannot handle it. So, I mean, obviously I'm getting better, but that's part of my work is let people have their feelings. Let people have their emotions. Let them work through their shit. One of the best things a coach said to me one time is, how dare you take away people's chance at a rock bottom by trying to fix their emotions? And I was like, fuck. Yeah, like by me trying to fix your emotions or manipulate your emotions or not tell you the truth, I'm scared you're going to hit rock bottom. But how dare I make that decision? I'm not that powerful. So it's just a little bit of a different way of looking at the undefined solar plexus. Like if you look at it as, how am I manipulating other people with my words in an effort to not feel your feelings? It is some covert shit, that it is some deep subconscious stuff. The undefined throat wants to be seen. So when I see somebody with an undefined throat who is super loud, super obnoxious, I'm like, who did not give you attention as a child? Right? Like they just need to be seen. Now, if you have this undefined throat, you have this undefined ego. And I don't know if Adrian is on here or not. And I'm just throwing things out. I don't know if Whitney, are they on here? No? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay. So I don't know if this is true for this person, but someone that I have known is close, an ex-boyfriend, I'll just say what it is, who had this undefined throat, this undefined ego, this undefined solar plexus. He was a master manipulator. I don't want to talk about it. Just kidding. But he had to be seen no matter what. He would lie, he would cheat, he needed to be seen. He needed to be recognized. See me, look at me, watch me, right? Big, and not self energy. For a lot of people who 70% of the population has an undefined crown, we're constantly searching Instagram. We're constantly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. What are we looking for? Inspiration. Give me inspiration. Help me move. Or I just want to numb because I don't want to feel my feelings, obviously. The undefined ajna, we're never going to be certain. I have an undefined ajna. Never have I told anyone this is definitely your problem because I don't know. First of all, I don't know you like you know you. I can give you my thoughts and my ideas based on my research and my experiments, but the undefined ajna, stop trying to be certain. What are you trying to prove? So I would say to this person, if you're pretending to be certain with your ideas, your opinions, politics, oh my God. I hope my mom is watching this. Stop trying to be certain with your undefined ajna, especially if you have an undefined root, because you're just trying to get recognition. You're just trying to be recognized. And that's okay. Become aware of it. It's a childhood pattern because someone somewhere did not recognize you. They didn't give you the attention, the love, the safety that you craved. Okay, so this person isn't on here, so I'm not going to go into anything else here. How are we doing on the chat? Whitney, you'll just let me know if you need me in the chat.
Yep, my shadow report is in the chat too. It's also, or my shadow report's in your email. If you want to look at that, or if you want to wait, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to pull that up real quick. Okay, so it does take a second to load. So if you do get your shadow report, and Whitney can share that link if you want it, it does take a second to load. So please give it time. And if it doesn't load, then yes, contact me. Okay. So this is, I do give you some explanation about what is shadow work, what is shadow, what is conditioning, what is deconditioning, the process for deconditioning, what is human design shadow, who am I, blah, 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 how to use this report, your chart, your definition. If you're a split, you need to know. Now, this program is limited in that it won't give you your specific split. So if you send me your birth information, I will manually create a little mini PDF for you that you can put together with this that will explain your splits in more detail. But I do take you through how to find your splits. So if you look at this here, this is my chart. Remember, single definition is when your defined centers are connected. So you want to look at the places where there is a disconnect. If you have genetic matrix, it does it for you, which I love genetic matrix because then I don't have to think. But your defined centers don't all have to connect to each other. There just has to be a stream, right? So if you look here at my spleen is connected to my root, which is connected to my ego, but they're an island on their own. They're not connected to my sacral, G, and throat. So I have two separate islands. I have the ego, spleen, and root, and I have the sacral, G, and throat. Now, how can I connect these islands? So the places where I can connect them is through the 25, it's through the 52, it's through the 27, and it's through the 57. These are my bridges. These are known as bridges. These are places where I am most likely to be in my not self energy, more than the centers. In fact, the themes of the undefined centers follow my bridges. So what this might look like in, let's say, 25, I have to know what love is. I have to know my path. I have to know which way I'm going. Remember, it's G center. I have to know which way I'm going. So I'm going to ask everyone. I'm going to ask all the psychics. I'm going to ask God. I'm going to ask spirits. I'm going to ask the witches. I'm going to ask everyone. Tell me what my path is. Tell me how to go. Tell me how to find love. Tell me who I am. I'm going to be obsessed with this. And that's not self behavior. The 27, I don't know. I don't know how to care for people. I just don't care. I just don't care. Teach me how to love. Teach me how to care. And it's, I'm taking it to extremes, obviously, but you really have to look at the energy on the other side, right? This 27, the bridge. How am I living in this not self energy? So what I see a lot is people with the 20 bridge. They don't have the 20. They need the 20 to bridge their split. These are people that are like, I have to know right now. I have to know right now. Tell me right now. Tell me what to do. Give me a project that I can finish right now. And often they're distracting and they're going here and they're going there and they're blah, 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 because they have to do things right now, right now, right now. That is not their correct energy. That's not how they're meant to be flowing through life. You are not meant to be bridged. So I've also had people say to me, should I find an assistant that bridges my splits? No. First of all, I never want you doing that. I don't think we should ever be asking people for their charts before we hire them or before we're willing to be in a relationship with them, unless you're just like messing around, which I've done. But the point is not to find someone that bridges you. First of all, that's half the fun of life, to see who you attract, right? That tells you so much about where you're at. But also, you don't want to be stuck in somebody's bridges. If you're stuck in their bridge, your perspective goes from this to this. You are very limited in your perception, because wherever we're defined, we are limited to that energy. We're limited to that perspective on that gate, on that channel, on that center. Where we have bridges, we are meant to be wise. We're meant to flow through that energy. Another place where I see this is the 16, that people that have the 48 but no 16, and they need to learn all the things. I need to take all the courses. I have to have all the certifications. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do that. I need all the things. I need all the knowledge, all the trainings. No, you don't. No, you don't. A lot of times it's because they also have an undefined ego and they're trying to prove themselves, trying to prove their worth. If you have an undefined ego, look at your relationship with your parents. Which parent, whether they have passed or they're still here, are you trying to still get recognition from? So obviously Whitney doesn't have it, but I run this separate for you. Just email me. Really good information in there. Also on how to do the shadow work on your bridges. Undefined centers. So your undefined centers, here I give you journaling prompts so that you can actually do the shadow work on these. I tell you what it's all about, but also I want you to move through it. Your profile. Whitney is a 1-5-5-1, sorry. So I give you the 5-1 and then, interesting. Okay. Each one of the lines and then also a culmination. I have to switch yours. I don't know. I wanted the 5 to go first. So thank you. I have to look at that. Your authority. We want to know about the authority, emotional authority. There's a lot to know here. What channels do you have in your emotional authority? That affects what your emotional wave is. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this. Your conscious moon. So I look at the conscious moon for trauma responses. If you think about the moon is in astrology and in human design, the way they perceive the moon is it's what drives us. It's what motivates us. Now, 90% of, I'm making that up, but 90-ish% of the world is living in not self behavior, and they are being driven by their trauma responses. If you're being driven by your trauma responses, you are not self energy. Again, this is safety. It's a safety mechanism. It's okay. It's not wrong. It's not bad. We just want to create awareness around it. Some information about trauma. This is your conscious moon, gate 60. Give you not self behavior. And then we go into nervous system regulation and how to regulate the nervous system based on whether your solar plexus is defined or not. Also something that a lot of people don't talk about it. If your solar plexus is defined, we want to spend a good amount of time feeling into our feelings. If your solar plexus is undefined, you want to be really careful because you might be feeling into feelings that are not yours. You might be trying to create stories around feelings that are not yours. So I walk you through how to do that, whether your solar plexus is defined or not. And it's a whole workbook thing. And then I show you how to regulate and put some self-care practices into your life based on your root definition. Our root is pressure. So we have the crown and the root that are two pressure centers. And the root is adrenalized pressure that's not necessarily bad, but it needs to be moved, right? So sometimes it moves us into action. Sometimes it needs to be released. So I show you how to release that based on your activations, whether you have splenic activations, sacral activations, or solar plexus activations, or none at all. I give you some information on soothing your nervous system. Why is this important? This is important because you're not going to be able to live your strategy and authority if you're dysregulated. You're not going to be able to live your highest frequency of yourself if you're dysregulated. If your nervous system is dysregulated, you're not going to be able to decondition or do the shadow work. Forget about it. It's just going to create more dysregulation in your body. If you were in fight or flight before, now you're in freeze. That's something that a lot of human design people don't talk about. regulate your nervous system, and then try to follow your design. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And then you're like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I do it? Everybody else is following their strategy and authority. Why can't I do it? Well, first of all, most people are lying. They're not following their strategy and authority. But also, if you're dysregulated, you're hitting your head on a wall and hoping it clears your headache, right? Like it's not going to work. So this is definitely a first place to start. I give you some ways to track it, some different tools. And then I walk you through a deconditioning process. So this deconditioning process takes everything you've learned in the report and it puts it together in a workbook style workbook style thing, but it shows you how to put together all of the information in here to use it to decondition. Now, if you're working on deconditioning, I do have the deconditioning program that we just started. It's 31 days to decondition, and we're deconditioning and manifesting at the same time using human design throughout. So it is a really cool perspective on it. It's 31 days. It's just the month of October. We have already started, but if you want to join, you can totally catch up. Whitney can post the link to that if you're interested in joining that. There is support. We have a private Instagram account. I also have a guide that I send you with all the information. Okay, so let's take a look at the next person. I know I said I'd go through this quickly. I'm trying, but there's so much I want to tell you. So I think we should do this more than just today. Okay, next I have Amanda. I don't know if Amanda is here or not. Amanda is a 1-4 emotional manifester. Again, I want to look at, is she a single definition? She is. We have an undefined sacral. Oh, she's a manifester. I think I said manifesting generator. She has an undefined sacral with a connection to the throat. So that tells us that she is a manifester. Now let me see what she asked specifically. Where is the best place to start for shadow work? I've seen the journal prompts, but my ex took all of my journals and read through them all. I'm just now starting to write again, but still feel very closed off. Okay. So for her, where I would say to start is her undefined centers. Where am I trying to find inspiration? Where am I following other people's way of living? So people with an undefined G center, it's so important for you to be around the right people. Like, it's important for all of us to be around the right people, but especially important for you. I don't know who gave me this metaphor, but it was super helpful for me when I was trying to kind of release things that had access to me that no longer should. And I was like, but I love this person. I want them in my life, but I kind of feel like they bring me down. Why can't I be strong enough to hold myself up, even though they kind of pull me down? And I don't remember who said this to me, and I really wish I did. But she was like, pretend you're standing on a chair. And if you're standing on a chair and this person is tugging on your arm and they're pulling you down, they're going to win. Like, you're not going to be able to stay up on this chair forever. They're eventually going to win to pull you down, no matter how much you're trying to climb up. There's nothing for you to hold on to up there if everybody you know is down here. And this is in no way meant to be condescending or mean or arrogant. It's just a fact that if you are here and somebody else doesn't understand, and they're, let's say you're sober and somebody else is drinking, and you just feel like this energy keeps pulling you down and keeps pulling you down to where you don't want to be. And that's a decision we make. I just don't want to be here. Don't think that you can fix it by being stronger. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Sometimes we just need to be in different rooms. We just need to be in different places with people that are bringing us up instead of pulling us down. Really important for the G center, you will amplify other people's identity. You will, other people's direction. You just have to know what's yours, what's not yours. If you are constantly living your life thinking, I wish I had the right direction, I wish I knew where I was going, I wish I knew who I was, then you're missing the assignment. The assignment is fluidity. Sacral, you have to know when enough is enough. Emotional solar plexus, you have to know what your specific wave is and make sure that you're riding that wave. 1858, this is the channel of correct bitchiness. You get to be a bitch. You get to tell us what we're doing wrong, but you have to be invited into it. If I didn't ask you, don't tell me. Like, I don't want to know. The thing about manifestors is they are so powerful when they're in alignment. Whitney and I just had this conversation. I was telling her about 2 manifestor coaches that I've had that have been so powerful, so potent. But when you're in the not self of that manifestor energy, that is either super compliant or just super angry, like defiant. I will do the opposite of everything you tell me to, or I'll do everything you tell me to, right? It's like 2 polar opposites, both not self energy. When the manifestor finds their way, finds the direction, finds their power, they're unstoppable. Okay, next up, I have Ashley. And Ashley said, how do I change my patterns and behavior to help myself get out of falling into the same toxic results in relationships? Hey, an undefined spleen. I am not surprised. The undefined spleen is that immune system. It's also that feel-good energy that we get from defined spleens. I have a defined spleen. If I'm in a room with someone without a defined spleen, they're like, oh my God, I feel so good around you. Like, don't leave. This is so great. And I'm like, you've had enough of my energy. Goodbye. But they can become attached. It becomes very toxic attachment. So let's say my defined spleen, Ashley and I are in a relationship. I am toxic AF, right? I gaslight her and I disempower her, but she's like, I don't understand. Like, my mind is like, something's not right here. My body's like, this doesn't feel good. But also, like, when I'm with you, I feel so good. Like, I have energy. Like, you make me feel alive. You make me feel safe somehow. So often this is about safety. And it's because somebody in your early life made, with a defined spleen, usually made you feel safe in a toxic way. And now it's like a remembrance. Oh, I remember this safety. I remember this perceived safety because I had it when I was a child. And this was all I knew. When I see people with an undefined spleen, I'm like, where do you feel unsafe? A lot of times it's physically. I had a client who was rolling out a new part of her business, super fucking successful woman. She was on fire. And she's like, I can't roll this out. I don't know why. I just can't do it. She felt physically unsafe because in childhood, when she was her authentic self, her physical safety was threatened. And once we figure that out, and it was just the awareness, she's like, oh shit, and reminded herself she was safe. She rolled that out with no problem. So it is oftentimes just the awareness that you need. Am I holding on to this person? Am I addicted to this person because of my undefined spleen? Am I continuing to be addicted to the same people? Now, this person's also a split definition. Split definitions, we are a lot in relationships. We are a lot. Now, we love relationships. We're all about relationships. We learn from relationships, but also we can get addicted to that bridging. So if this person is being bridged by the 25 or the 21 here in this ego, then they could be addicted to that bridge. And their perception, remember, becomes smaller, becomes refined. They can't see outside of themselves. And they're like, no, like, I feel whole when I'm with this. I need this. I need this energy. Also, if this person has the 21 and they complete your bridge, your split, that's control. They're somehow controlling you, which is making you feel safe. So I would look at that toxic pattern as well. The other bridge is 25. Again, maybe they give you the love that you never had that makes you feel safe. Maybe they give you the direction you feel like you're missing, and that makes you feel safe. So there's a few different ways that you can look at this, but as a split definition, it is really important to look at your relationships as mirrors. Mirrors in terms of not where you've messed up, not what you've done wrong, but where do I need to heal? How is this a pattern? Usually stemming from childhood. Now that we're talking about childhood, I'm going to throw this out there. This is something we go into deeply in the human design shadow training that I host, but the 27 and the 59, these are what we call mommy and daddy gates. So typically, if you have a 27 bridge, meaning you have 50 but no 27, these are mommy issues. If you have a 6 and no 59, these are daddy issues. Of course, there are nuances, and there are people that have this and don't have that, and they do have mommy issues, they don't. But just when I'm looking at somebody's chart quick, I'm like, okay, we got some mommy and some daddy issues here. The other person, Adrian, they had 27 and the 59 defined. I didn't put a lot of emphasis on it. I didn't even bring it up. I might let them bring it up to see where the dysfunctional energy might be, but I wouldn't necessarily bring it up. So we want to look at the patterns. What did I learn from my mom? What did I learn from my dad in terms of safety? And this could be a grandmother. It's just a female figure, a male figure. Use the gender thing however you want. But I would definitely look at all of this in terms of safety, in terms of pressure, stress. But the first place to start would 100% be your bridges. So the 21 and the 25. Where are you trying? Where are you fixated, obsessed with control? What are you trying to control and why? Is it because you feel unsafe? Then we need to work through that. This person has gate 51 in their unconscious Mars, which tells me that they have probably a lot of shocking things that have happened in their lives. This is the core wound, unconscious Mars right here. It's also our shadow genius, but it's the core wound. It's some of the deepest healing we will do. So this is the gate of shock, 51. I also love to look at Pluto. So this person is going to get a lot of help, transformation, a lot of healing from shadow work. Gate 28. Now it's in an undefined center. So because it's in an undefined center, it's also going to reveal a lot of their fears, their fear of the dark, their fear of maybe going too deep into the shadows, going too deep into their emotions. What is in here? They may have repressed this altogether. They may have repressed this core wound altogether, and they don't know what this trauma is. They just know there's something there, and I can't quite get to it. Shadow work is going to be really powerful. Okay, let's Barbara, I think. I hope I'm saying that correct. And she said, where exactly do you see the shadows from the split in definition? Can you showcase exactly on a chart how the bridges can harm or condition us with a practical example? And with my chart, if possible. Yes. Okay, so your small split.
She's on the call too, just so you know.
Oh, great. Okay, so if you want to unmute and you have additional questions, let me know. So we want to look at your islands. So I find the islands first when I'm dealing with splits. Where are the islands? So I know I have this island here, which is the G, the throat, and the ajna. And then I have the ego and the solar plexus. So I have two islands that are not connected. So I can't talk about my emotions. I don't know how to express my emotions. I don't know. Like I'm feeling shit, but I don't know what it is. So your bridge is the 36. Now, overly talking about your emotions might not be correct for you because you don't have that throat connection. 36 as a bridge is drama. It is like a love of drama. And this is chaos. This is like, those people where like a little black cloud follows them around everywhere they go. And you're like, how do you get into the craziest shit? Like, how does this stuff happen to you all the time? You have the worst luck ever. That's not you, but that's people that come into your energy with the 36 might bring that to you. So I would say to this person that in childhood, you probably experienced chaos and you might have been stuck in this energy, but this is not yours. You don't have to explain your emotions to other people. You don't have to feed into the drama. You get to have your experiences. You get to talk about your experiences in the now. You're genius to freak, right? You have these incredible ideas, these incredible insights. They are not emotionally fueled. So I would look at this 36 bridge. Where in my life am I feeding into the drama? Where in my life am I letting conflict take over? Am I overly obsessed with talking about conflict? This is like people that, and anytime anything goes wrong, I got to call someone and talk about it 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 and talk about it. And you're just recreating that conflict over and over and over again and that drama. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that. You get to be wise about this experiential energy, about these experiences that come in the 36. You get to be wise about the drama. What is drama that I want in my life? What is drama that I don't want in my life? Where do you see shadows from the split? Okay, so I did explain that. So I would look at your throat. Now, okay, the undefined centers obviously are going to feed into this. This person probably felt really unsafe. Maybe they had a chaotic household. Maybe she doesn't know when enough is enough. Maybe she lets the pressure just take over and she has to release the pressure by talking about it over and over and over again, by ruminating. I don't know. But also with splits, I want to also look at the defined centers. So these are two centers that are kind of like reaching for each other, but they're just not quite getting it. So she might have dysfunctional energy, not self energy in the defined throat and the defined solar plexus. So she might not be riding that wave. My guess is because this is super tribal, the 4037, is that there is potential chaos with family. Again, I don't know. Like I say to people, like, if you show me your chart, I will find the problems. I will find all the issues. But if they don't exist in your life, now I'm creating issues, right? Like I'm putting them in your mind and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I do like to kind of let people tell me what they're going through first, and then we can look at the chart and work through solutions or try to understand why or how. But that would be my insight on that. Okay. Let me see. Okay, who do we have? Barbara, do you have anything to say about that? Do you have anything you want to share that can help me go further, go deeper in there? Does that make sense?
Thank you so much for looking through it. Actually, I'm just like processing it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like when you looked at the channel between the ego and solar plexus, I have actually very good like family since I was a child. So I think that wouldn't be a thing at all. I have like like very good relationships, very good childhood. I feel like I have a lot of shadow in my line one. Like I really overly prepare. I don't know if it's also connected to the open spleen. Like I fear almost everything. It's insane how much I fear. Like I just make it up. Like it's insane. But I think the shadow line one for me, like being overly prepared, it's something that and obviously you haven't even touched that. I know that we were talking more about the bridges and splits, but I was reflecting about if I really do attract people who are like going through this like dramatic like shit and stuff like that, and I can resonate with that. Yeah, that sometimes those people come up.
So
Yeah.
let me give you a different perspective on that now that you're telling me about your gate one or your line one. So
Yeah.
it's the 36 is drama and chaos and just like emotional upheaval,
Mm.
and that makes you feel unsafe, then your line one is going to want to over prepare, over protect. And that's the crown, right? So we're going to take it into the mind. Excuse me. We're going to take it into the mind and we're going to create scenarios that begin to hurt our own feelings. And we're going to overthink and we're going to worry and we're going to try to figure it all out because I'm scared that this is going to happen. So the line one, when we in my human design shadow training program, we talk about the different profile types and how they are protective mechanisms. So the line one is the protector. I need to know everything. I need to research everything, and you better not lie to me. And if you do, I will find out. But 1-3s, they will always know if you're lying to them. But I need to over plan everything, because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know if I'm going to be safe, and it's going to be chaos. So when you find yourself doing that, that is that 36 bridge.
Okay.
Combined with your spleen. They're working together to fuck up your mind.
Okay. So in order to navigate it, like now clearly they have the awareness, would be just to not like fall for it, just like know that that's something that's, but like doing it anyways, and you know what I mean? Like,
pause, like you pause it up, like press the pause button in your mind, pause. Is this real? Has this happened? Like, is this a real scenario, or am I distracting? Am I in my not self energy? Am I just thinking about things that don't matter for no reason? Right. And then what can I focus on instead?
Right.
It's in the now. For you, it's your correct behavior in the now. Let me focus on who I am now. Let me focus on what's happening now.
Okay. That's amazing. Okay, great. I'm going to try to do that. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Let me know.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay. Last we have Lisa.
Lisa is on as well.
Okay, cool. Okay, Lisa is a 4-6 generator. She has a large split, giving me a run for my money today. Okay. So large split. Okay, so you can see her 2 islands. She's got the sacral and she's got the root, but the ajna and the throat are so far apart, right? I need more than one gate to connect them. I need a defined center to connect them. In order to define this center, I'm gonna need this 2 and this 1. So I want to think, what is the fastest way to define it? And she has a lot of possibilities. So the fastest way is the 2 and the 1, but I could also go 59 and 22, or 59 and 35. So she's got a lot to explore here. I would take a look at all of these different options: 35, 1, 2, 59. I think those are probably the fastest way. I wouldn't I mean, you could get like even more nuanced and say 34-20, but I wouldn't even go there. So, okay. Let me see. Lisa, I'm new to this whole scene. I'm really hoping to observe and listen. Oh, sorry, Lisa, totally putting you on the spot. Well, observe and listen to your own chart. So I would, as a large split, this is actually really great information. I'm glad we use this. Large split is a little different from a simple split. A simple split that we saw before with Barbara was, this is my problem. I'm creating these scenarios, right? Like maybe other people are bringing them into my life, but they're my problem. I'm fixated on worst case scenarios. If I could only fix this in my head, it wouldn't be a problem. I'm broken. I'm the problem. Lisa probably thinks she's the problem too, or she wouldn't be here. But these people often think that person out there is the problem. Donna doesn't know what she's talking about. My mom traumatized me. My coach is an idiot. God, it's God's problem. I've done everything. I've done the work. When is it my turn? When am I going to win? When am I going to be God's favorite? Right? Like this is everybody else is at fault. Large splits tend to be untrusting. And here's why. Because if I come in with my 34-20, I'm going to compromise Lisa. So what that means when people say compromise in terms of human design, it doesn't mean that we compromise. No, there is no compromising. It just means that my 3420 is going to overpower her. And because she's a large split, she has a lot of places for me to connect her bridges and overpower her. When I overpower her with my energy, I make her feel uncomfortable, uneasy, and now she doesn't trust me. Mechanical, this is mechanical, right? She doesn't trust this energy because it overpowers her. When we're aware of it, we can notice it and be like, wait a minute, okay, this person's safe. I trust this person. We've gone through all of the things. We're good. But mechanically, if you don't know this information, you're like, why does this person make me feel so uneasy? First of all, always trust your instincts. But a lot of people with large splits will feel uneasy because they are being compromised. Excuse me. Now, we also have to look at the undefined centers. So this G center that's stuck in the middle, what does that tell us? That tells us there's a lot of friction here, right? So this person might not know who she is, or she might be working through who she is. She gets little glimpses in the correct behavior. She has an idea about the contribution, perhaps. I mean, this is unconscious, but it's not, she might feel uneasy with her identity, but she also has these 3 undefined centers here that are powerful. The undefined solar plexus and the undefined spleen together is incredibly powerful. It's empathetic energy. It's the intuitive, it's the empath. A lot of times it's like and in, what is that called when you can like feel how people feel in their physical body? Medical intuitive. It's a lot of energy. And then when you have the ego on top of it, you're like, holy shit, now I'm trying to prove myself. Now I'm trying to prove my worth. And to top it off, we didn't even talk about circuitries. And maybe this is something good to talk about in our next class. Let's do this once a month, you guys. This is so fun. I just get to talk. I just get to listen to myself talk. We didn't even get to talk about circuitries, but Lisa has the 360, which is individual, highly individual. Format energy is depression. It is set up to create depression, not necessarily in the way that we think of it. It doesn't have to necessarily be bad, but it's meant to help us find our purpose past the mundane, past the tribal energy of this is life. We hunt, we gather, we eat, we procreate. And this super creative, mutative energy pulses. So when it's on, it's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm creative. I'm amazing. I know who I am. And then it's off. And when it's off, that's fertile ground. That's when the mutative information comes in. That's when the new energy floods our system. But if we don't let ourselves be in that off place with that, especially with the 360, and we start to intellectualize it, oh my God, I'm unmotivated. What's wrong with me? I'm such an idiot. This is so bad. Oh, I can't believe like I didn't do anything today. I'm so unproductive. I'm the worst person ever. We're stopping the process. We're stopping that creative, mutative process because it needs this fertile ground. We need to just be okay to do nothing. Even Ross said this. What did he say exactly? It was something like, if you can't let yourself do nothing, you will never be anything, or you'll never find anything. Basically, give yourself time to do nothing, if I were to summarize that. So really important. And we can talk about circuitry next time, but if you have a lot of individual circuitry, this is really, really important. This is really important energy. Let me show you, if you have genetic matrix. Let me close all of these down. I'm going to pull up mine so I'm not like sharing somebody else's personal information. If you have genetic matrix, it's super easy to look this up. You just go up here to quantum and you scroll down to quantum data 1. and it's right here. See my individual energy? I'm 35% individual energy, which means that the way that I process information is on and off, on and off, on and off. Now that off very much feels like depression. It very much feels like melancholy, but we have to disconnect from the meaning that we give it, because society and the conditioning out there is very different than what I've learned is true for me. And what I've learned is true using human design. And if you're interested in that, like kind of like that reality shift, we do a lot of that in the 31-day deconditioning program that's currently running. And that's just through October, we're running that. So if you still want to join, we're only on the 4th day, you can catch up. But we talk a lot about reality. What is real? What isn't? Is time real? we get into it. Okay. I have 10 minutes. Oh yeah, great. Genetic matrix link. I have 10 minutes. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and we can, or drop it into the chat. Was this useful? Like, would you benefit from like doing this once a month, just going through different human design questions and things? Yes. Okay, cool. We talked about splits. Let me see. What other questions do people ask? The low-hanging fruit shadows that I can decondition first. Again, deconditioning is going to be, it's going to depend on what your definition is. Definition in terms of like, am I split? Am I single definition? If you're single definition, you want to look at your undefined centers. If you're a split, you want to look at your bridges. But again, like, you have to let yourself become aware of what's actually happening. What's coming up for me? Like, what's actually here? Like, what am I mad or upset about? Is this a relationship thing? Because then I can look at my undefined centers and my bridges in with the lens of the relationship. Or I can look at my definition with the lens of relationship. Where might this be showing up? Where should we go to learn the basics of our chart and the chart in general? So I do have a basics class. It's a 30-minute class in the 31-day deconditioning program. Whitney can drop a link to that again. But you can Google it, honestly, like there's information everywhere. I'm looking for my human design book because that's like the Bible. I don't know, here it is. The definitive book of human design, the science of differentiation. Oh, thanks, Whit. Yeah, this is the Bible. We love this book for all things human design. Christy Ing, I-N-G-E. I love her website for human design stuff. I love unlockyourdesign.com. Ashley and Bella are really great. Those are good places to start. I know some people, what shadows can you share about having the same gate in my unconscious moon and unconscious Pluto, gate 46? Gate 46 is sensual. This is all about the body. This is getting into the body. What is your relationship with your body? So where if you have the same gate in multiple places in your chart, I like to think of this as like the universe, like tapping you on the shoulder. Like, hey, in case you missed this, I'm going to put it again over here just to like reiterate how important this is. So your unconscious moon, unconscious Pluto. So again, the moon. Ooh. National alert.
It's the test. Everyone's going to start getting it. So just be prepared to silence it and ignore.
Oh, I heard lots of conspiracy theories about that one.
Me too.
That's a whole other class. I love to look at unconscious Pluto as your biggest transformation, but also if it's in an undefined center, your biggest fears. A lot of information can come of that. I even look at Pluto in terms of like my life's work. What's my message? What am I meant to do here on the planet? So gate 46, do you have the entire channel? The 4629? You do? Awesome. So the 4629 is unstoppable. This is the person that's successful no matter what. I mean, you have to be in alignment. Be very careful, because if you're saying yes to incorrect things with that 29, the 29 is the gate of yes. I will martyr myself for you. I will do whatever you tell me to do. Yes, 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 just so you love me. Then you're going to be entering into things incorrectly. But the 4629 is successful in everything that they do. It is important to feel things in your body. I mean, these things that I'm telling you are just based on this channel. If I can see your entire chart, now we can start to synthesize. And that's really what we teach you in the human design shadow training also, is how to synthesize, because we don't live in a vacuum. So like, yes, your 46 essential, and it's about your body and your connection to your body. And a lot of people with this in their Pluto, I've seen teach yoga or do somatic work, or I know one person did wealth embodiment. And I was like, well, that's just perfect. But it really does depend on some of the other elements too. But I would say some of your greatest healing potential will come through somatic work, depending on your defined or undefined solar plexus, feeling into your body, depending on your root activations towards the spleen or towards the emotional solar plexus, how to release things from your body, but it's in your body. Focus on the body. If you do this monthly, will you show people's charts again? I'd love for you to break down. Yeah, I think next time we can do maybe like another 5 people, or maybe next time I won't do my intro. Definitely next time I won't do my intro. It won't be as long, at least if I do, and then we can go through more people's charts. Is this something you teach that someone could then help others? Yeah. Yes. So we teach this, Ashley, in the human design shadow training. That's a 6-month long program. We are running one right now that's live. We haven't decided yet if we're going to run it live again when this is over, but it'll definitely be available in some kind of capacity. So just keep an eye out for that. And again, if you follow me on Instagram, not again, because I haven't said this yet. If you follow me on Instagram, that's like where I post everything. Like I'm just not, and email, but Instagram is like the best, because you get all of my musings as they happen. Insanities, theories, whatever.
Just a note about the human design shadow training. That is something that you're going to want to have a good basic knowledge of human design for. So if that's something that you're looking to do in the future, or this is like exciting for you, then spend the next, few months learning human design
For sure.
the best that you can before coming into that.
Yeah, for sure. We don't do the basic, like this is beyond basics. We go really deep into trauma, really deep into shadow work, how to find it all. Barbara, you can still join the 31-day challenge. That's a deconditioning challenge. There is some human design. There's not a ton, so you won't be overwhelmed. No, it's not a lot daily basis. Like I give you things to read and challenges, but you can do those challenges throughout the week. Also, if you're behind, it really doesn't matter. It's self-paced, and there is some extra support in a private Instagram profile. And then there's also a portal with some information as well. We have 40 people in there. So I think it's pretty fucking awesome, but I'll let you know how everybody else likes it. So far they like it, so it's fun. Yes, Suzette likes it. Great. Thank you. All right. Okay, that's all I got for today. So let's send out I'll send out another form. So when I send out the recording for this, I'll send out, I don't know, let's figure out how to do this. Let Whitney and I think how to do this every month, because I do want to put up more people's charts and try to get like mini readings for everyone going. So let me think of the most efficient manifesting generator way to do that. And then we'll let you guys know. But if you have suggestions, please let us know. We're always open. Yay, I'm so glad you liked it. Thank you so much. I'm glad that everyone is getting something out of this. Do you offer an opportunity to do a private session? Oh my God, yes. So private sessions, I don't typically do them, but Megan, she couldn't be on here today, but Megan does do them. I have trained Megan. She went through the human design training program. I put her through some other shit that I made her do to make sure that she knew how to do it properly. She's awesome. She's traveling today, so she couldn't be here, but Whitney just posted her thing. She does have a discount right now. Typically when I do human design shadow calls, they're close to $400. I think Megan's is like $197. So that's the link to book with her. It's also on my website. Her call is called Hidden Programs. She is amazing. Yes, definitely look into that. She's great. Okay, and if you have any other questions, just let us know. Thank you everyone for being here. Sorry, I'm not a psychic. Just kidding. You're welcome. Bye-bye.